Yahoo, Prof here with a quick update on Einhunter V2. I got in the placement for that's the fan hub and RGB hub. We'll have enough for the fans. The top RGB up here and possibly the GPU RGB will probably have to go on one of these dongles. So, like one of the little breakouts and pass-through sort of thing. But besides that, I just wanted to show you some places where Fractal already, I'm seeing that they could really improve. And I don't remember running into this on the Torrent Compact. And what that is here, they intend for you to run the cables. The front I/O comes down through this hole, right? And in this case, your front I/O actual like switches and LEDs are here. So you need to run this up. Normally there'd be big 3.5-inch hard drive bays. That's fine for people who would use it. Modern system, you're really not going to be doing that. They're there if you can, but a lot of times that space is actually, the reason why this is here, it could be here, but these are all 2.5-inch. I feel like the owner of this would probably go 2.5 before they go 3.5. And then also this is closest to, like, basically most of these fans, if you notice here, should make it without extensions. It might not look pretty. The only ones that won't make it, I think, is this one. So I'll only need one extension rather than needing, if I put it over here, which would look cleaner for that, I would need extensions for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fans. So that's a better placement there for me. But remember, the cables come through here and they want you to go this way. Well, these ties are going down in the wrong direction. What I mean, see these here? Well, these are correct. If you're having a cable go down this way, you need to loop the tie wrap around the cable. So having a vertical, like basically you want the ties to line up with the direction the cable is going. So if the cable's going down this way, these are slots for like the GPU, these little slots here, those are for the GPU support. So ignore that. But that's a cable tie down, right? So if your cable intends on going down this way or up this way, and that's where the 24 pin's going in, and that's where your PCI Express is going in. That's why they have vertical ones here, because you tie it, you loop it this way, right? Originally there were Velcro ties here. I hate those. Well, they're not only Velcro ties, but there were these like plastic standoff blocks. Ugh, they just take up space. I'm glad newer cases are finally getting rid of this. But that is an issue because these go this way. And realistically, you're going to want to be... You're not going to put... Because the cable is going to go down here and down there, right? The cable's not going like somehow perpendicular. Like it doesn't go this way and you strap it down here, like looping it like that. Why would a cable go here? Maybe here because that's where the power supply is. But the cable would never go this way up into the power supply shroud. Like, what cable is going to do that? These tie downs here should have been going along it. Instead of this way, the tie down should have been this way, because when you route cables along this little edge here, just like when you route cables along this edge, if you notice, they're going the correct way here. They're going the correct way here. And you do have similar ones here. Bonuses, not bad. But for some reason, as good as Fractal is, those three are pointed, or they basically need to be 90 degrees flipped. And then they would be far, far more useful. Otherwise, I have to do what I did here, where you tie wrap a tie wrap to the loop, and then you tie wrap a tie wrap through that tie wrap. Then I'll be able to make use of those. But that's like kind of annoying. So just some feedback, I guess, and improvements on the full-size Torrent here. One thing I will say about this cable management is by default, and I think I mentioned this in another video, they already had these cables back here tucked into this nice tight corner where it didn't avoid this. Now, one way that we found on the Compact to make this even better would be to pass the cables behind these fans in the front of this metal here, right? Now, I cannot do that here because there's a hole here. There is no hole in this corner. I would have to, I mean, I could, and I have in the past. I think we've done it on Frozen Slates build, where we actually drilled a hole in that corner, and then, because what happens then is then the cables would pop out the bottom, and they come in this hole down here. Let's go to ultra wide. So instead of going here and then down the back, right, they would go behind the fans, behind those big boy fans there, down, 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 and pop out the bottom. And then we just go over, up, and plug in. You know, see? Come out of here, over, up, and plug in. You need your USB 3 over, up, and plug in. You know, I think it would be cleaner to do it that way if you can, because I always like running my cables along this front edge. However, in this case, there is no hole in that corner here. There is kind of in the Torrent Compact, and I might be able to drill one, but this build is supposed to be RGB'd out the wahoo, but not like a modding thing. So I'm not going like that route to drill holes like this up front there. Just not in the cards for this build here. Let me know if there's anything else that you guys saw back here that you would want to give back to Fractal as some feedback. Really loving also there's 3 sets of holes in the bottom here. Boom, boom, boom. They line up with all the fans. And there's one down here as well. I would actually like to see another one right there. I mean, these are amazing. Most cases don't even have that many, but why not one right there? Then this fan here could come through here. That would make maybe more sense, especially in this case, because you ship it in the RGB model with 3 140mm fans in the bottom. I can use this one. It's not the end of the world. Hey, King Arthur. What's up, King Arthur? Oh, it's King. Where you going? Come here. Oh, yeah, it's King Arthur. Yeah. You want attention. You're purring, aren't you?